Alright then, what do you guys think about the new addition to the setup? We've added a flipping orchid into things today. I quite like it. It's always like on the periphery of my setup here for these videos, but I thought, you know what? Debut the orchid in today's video. Yes guys, welcome back to the George Benson football channel. I come with more good news. I mean, it's Christmas, it's the season of goodwill, and I feel as though RUBEN LOFTUS has delivered Chelsea fans at the biggest time of asking a bit of an early Christmas present. We have seen RUBEN LOFTUS on social media back in Chelsea training. Now, we don't know when he's going to be back fully fit. I don't want to come here saying, Ruben's back, he's going to play against Spurs and score a hat-trick at the weekend. That isn't happening. RUBEN LOFTUS is recovering from an extremely serious injury, and he needs to be very, very slowly nurtured back into first team training. With the ball, without the ball, whatever it may be. Ruben's not going to be back for a while. It's going to be probably a minimum, from what I understand, of about 6 weeks until we can even really be considering RUBEN LOFTUS for starting games for Chelsea. In an injury like the one he has, it's very easy to pick it up again when you're not fully fit, when you're not used to the twisting, the turning, the changes of pace and movement on the football pitch, be that with the ball or without the ball. But the fact of the matter is, the fact that Ruben is back on the training pitch, we see him doing drills, going around the cones, doing little things where he's running around those poles. I don't know what the technical term for the poles are, but we're just going to call them the poles for this video today. Ruben being back, it's going to feel like a new signing for Chelsea. He's been out for quite some time. And it was finally last season under Maurizio Sarri that we saw RUBEN LOFTUS finally becoming a regular in the Chelsea starting lineup. He'd been on the periphery, a bit like Mr. Orchid over here, for a little while. He'd been kind of getting a bit of game time here and there. And then last season, we saw the different elements of RUBEN LOFTUS game that make him such a versatile player. And in my opinion, RUBEN LOFTUS, even with this injury, has the potential to come back and be the complete midfielder for Chelsea. And what we're going to discuss today is different formations and different ways that RUBEN LOFTUS can fit into this current Chelsea side, and with the potential of making some signings as well, where Ruben could fit in for the future. And we're also going to consider potential departures and where RUBEN LOFTUS could fit in there. So in terms of what Ruben can do, Ruben is a self-proclaimed box-to-box midfielder. He doesn't want to just be a defensive midfielder. He doesn't simply want to be an attacking midfielder. He wants to be the box-to-box midfielder. RUBEN LOFTUS has played in various different positions throughout his Chelsea career. We've even seen him considered as a striker from some managers, and people have said that Ruben could definitely play there. I'm going to entertain RUBEN LOFTUS in a 2-striker formation a little bit later in this video, so stay right tuned to the end so that you can hear all of my thoughts. But Ruben is at the stage in his career now where if he wants to knuckle down a regular starting place for Chelsea, and also the international side as well, maybe the Euros might come a bit too soon. England have got a floodload of players right now, but midfield is a place that they could definitely strengthen. And if Ruben can get enough game time between now and the end of the season, I'm sure Gareth Southgate is definitely going to be considering Ruben for a place in his Euros squad. Ruben is not young anymore. He's still young in the grander scheme of things, but compared to Mason Mount or Tomori or Reece James, he's not in that same bracket. Ruben does have a lot more experience playing at the top level, be that for Chelsea or in what was particularly a decent loan spell at Crystal Palace. So, RUBEN LOFTUS, one thing that I remember very well is the game that Chelsea played against Brighton. I believe we won the match 2-0, or we might have scored a couple more, I can't remember. But Eden Hazard, the majestic magician that he is, whipped one into the top corner. Ruben was like, you know what, Eden? You're buggering off in the summer, I know that. Just going to remind the Chelsea fans exactly what I can do, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to sign a new deal. So RUBEN LOFTUS up ones over Eden Hazard, scores an even better goal, just to remind us that he can ghost into the box without the ball and score. He can dribble and outmuscle defenders to run into the box and score, and he can also put one in the top corner from outside the box as well. RUBEN LOFTUS has got it all from a goal scoring perspective. And he's also got that physicality, which I think in this Chelsea team is something that sometimes is lacking. We've got players who are pretty decent when the ball is at their feet. We've got some players who will run all day long and try and win the ball back. For example, Mason Mount, he presses very well. N'Golo Kante, he's also very good at winning the ball back, particularly in front of that back line. So RUBEN LOFTUS, he actually offers a mixture of everything that I think, considering all of the individual qualities of our central midfield players, I think in terms of looking at the versatility and the abilities to be able to do a bit of everything, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek is probably the best at Chelsea Football Club right now to be able to offer that fully rounded approach. So in what kind of situations do I think Chelsea could utilise Ruben Loftus-Cheek when he is back from injury? And again, I stress exactly what I said at the beginning. It is going to be some time. Just because he's back in training, I don't want to start seeing, oh, I want Ruben to start against Tottenham at the weekend. It's not going to happen. We've got to be realistic with an injury like this. Ruben is coming back. We know that. He's had a lot of setbacks along the way. People thought, and I thought this, that by now, Ruben might actually be in contention around Christmas time. It's not been the way it is, but we're also very lucky that he can actually play football again. So that is one positive, at least at this stage. I really think that Ruben could play in so many different positions. Now, the one that I really think would benefit Chelsea the most is if we're playing in a 4-2-3-1. If we're looking at the moment at the Mason Mount and Christian Pulisic partnership, both players are kind of occupying the same spaces on the field. It's either Mount is too busy over on the left where Pulisic's meant to be, or Pulisic is too busy in the middle where Mount's meant to be, and then there isn't really much fluidity on that left-hand side for Chelsea when they're going forward. So with Ruben Loftus-Cheek operating at his best from central areas, having Christian Pulisic or Mason Mount starting on the left, at the moment it would certainly be Pulisic based off of form. Ruben Loftus-Cheek in a central attacking midfield position would be able to offer Chelsea a hell of a lot. He's a physical player that can win the ball back to be able to offload it to Tammy or to Willian or Hudson-Odoi or Pulisic, whoever it is playing out on the wing. He also gives us, which is something that we desperately need at the moment, somebody who's got the confidence to let go from range. And what I want to see from more Chelsea players is the ability to outmuscle defenders that are trying to come out and win the ball from the attacking midfielders, to outmuscle them, to get into the box and then get some more shots away. At the moment, we don't really have that physicality. Yes, we've got some skillful players. We've seen Pulisic with a lot of successful dribbles recently. When Hudson-Odoi's on the pitch, even though his final end product recently hasn't been great, he's still got that ability to be able to ghost past players, but not necessarily from a physical standpoint the way that Ruben can. So playing in a 4-2-3-1, we could definitely see either Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, whatever it is, that two would be in front of the defence. Even though I'm kind of getting a bit tired of the 4-2-3-1 now, Ruben would be a perfect fit in the position that Mason Mount is currently occupying. So if we look at another alternative, we've got the 4-3-3. Now at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of people suggesting that Chelsea might revert back to a 3-defender formation, be that a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. If Ruben Loftus-Cheek is one of those central midfielders, Chelsea again, they're just going to be levelling up. At the moment, you've got three individual players, and I've mentioned this before. Kante, brilliant at winning the ball back, brilliant at pressing, and has just got an abundance of quality that we've all known ever since he came to the Premier League. N'Golo Kante is not in his best form right now in a Chelsea shirt. What we've seen from him recently, and particularly in the past 18 months, is more of an offensive side of his game, but I still definitely believe that Kante is best when deployed in a deeper role. Mateo Kovacic, a man who's come into his own, and probably at the start of the season, if we weren't looking at Ruben Loftus-Cheek with a long-term injury, I probably at the start of this season would have said that Kovacic would have been the immediate person to make way if Ruben Loftus-Cheek was available. But what we've seen from Kovacic is his ability to distribute his body weight, to use what he has to the best advantage. He's quite short, he's not the tallest player, so he's got a relatively low centre of gravity to be able to dribble past players. He's got great ball control, extremely press resistant, and he's fitting in perfectly into this Chelsea team at the moment. And of all of the three central midfielders, Mateo Kovacic's form has definitely been a highlight of this season. Not just from a midfield perspective, but just generally in the whole Chelsea team. Mateo Kovacic has been up there as one of the top two players this season. Jorginho, we all know what he brings to this Chelsea team. He's the engine in the middle. He's the man that's always in the pocket of space to be able to transition the play from defensive standpoints, moving forward into offensive positions. So Jorginho also has an extremely big role to play in this Chelsea team. However, when we're talking about playing numerous matches, we're talking potentially, and I don't want to entertain this idea at all, but some people do, Real Madrid are banging on the door for N'Golo Kante. I don't know how much truth there is in Kante being interested in the move. I don't really want to give it any time of day at this point. I believe that whenever Real Madrid come knocking on the door, players are always going to be very respectful, very humbled by the interest of clubs such as Real Madrid. So I wouldn't look into that too much at this moment in time. that based off of Kante's form and the brilliance so far of Kovacic and what Jorginho brings to this side, we might see N'Golo Kante leave, which I do not endorse. Please do not take any of my words here out of context. I do not want Kante to go, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek, considering the physical nature of his game, considering this box-to-box element that he really wants to be known for, Ruben Loftus-Cheek could be a great option for Chelsea if deployed in the three in the centre of the park. Now, Chelsea are obviously in the market for another winger. It's something that we've absolutely gone through to death on this YouTube channel. Every other day, there's a new newspaper or a new media outlet in some European country saying like, Chelsea are going to sign this geezer. We're now interested in the man from Villarreal, whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce because I'm going to talk about him in tomorrow's video. But Chelsea are being linked with every flipping winger under the sun right now. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I think we really need to focus Ruben on what his strengths are. If Chelsea are trying to accommodate Ruben Loftus-Cheek by sticking him on the right wing or the left wing, we're completely missing an opportunity. Ruben's physicality in the middle of the park, his technical ability on the ball, we need to be deploying him through the middle. I've also been talking, and I spoke about this on a video, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. I did a podcast with the guys from the London is Blue podcast. They've appeared in some of my match vlogs before. They've got one of the best Chelsea podcasts out there. Going to leave a link to their Spotify and iTunes in the description as well. You should definitely go and give it a listen. Within that podcast, I raised the point of wanting to see Chelsea do something that we've not done for a long period of time. Now, there's a lot of talks at the moment about Timo Werner. Supposedly, the man from RB Salzburg, Erling Haaland, could be on his way to Red Bull Leipzig, which would see Leipzig most likely offload Timo Werner. Manchester United are interested. Bayern Munich are interested. So if Bayern are interested, we'll just have Lewandowski instead. That's cool. Timo Werner to Chelsea is definitely something and a story that I feel has some substance. However, let's just play devil's advocate for a second. We don't get Timo Werner. Chelsea don't get any of their other striking options. Where else could Ruben Loftus-Cheek fit in to this Chelsea team? I would play him as a second striker. If Tammy Abraham's the main striker, the number 9, Ruben could kind of be playing as a second striker and interchanging with someone like Christian Pulisic. This could work. We've not seen Chelsea play with 2 strikers for quite some time. If we're thinking about bringing in someone like Hakim Ziyech, a left-footed right midfielder, having 2 strikers and someone like Ruben Loftus-Cheek who's going to be in and around the box with Tammy Abraham, I feel as though Chelsea, from an attacking sense, would be able to offer so much more. Could I see Ruben Loftus-Cheek as a second striker if the form of Mateo Kovacic and Jorginho and then Kante gets back to his best? Could I see that working? I definitely could. However, if we're going to play with 2 strikers, I don't think Chelsea are going to be playing with 3 central midfielders. So in terms of rotation, Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming back is a huge bonus for Chelsea from central positions, but I also think he could do a job up top. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Ruben Loftus-Cheek's return. There are loads of different places that we could put Ruben. I've spoken about the 3 today that I consider to be the most likely. He could be that strong talisman in the midfield that Chelsea need to go up a level. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Ruben's back in training. I'm absolutely buzzing about it. But let me know your thoughts on Ruben in the comments down below. Where would you play him? How does he fit into this Frank Lampard system? And are we about to see something brand new from Frank in the coming weeks before the January transfer window opens? Let me know your thoughts. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the George Benson Football channel if you haven't already. And I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.